Welcome back to our second part of a very special Man in the House episode of the Hillman Podcast. We're going to be finishing the Man in the House movie right now. We last left off with meeting the whole troop of the Indian Guides, so we're going to finish up the movie, give our thoughts and reviews, and hope you enjoy. Alright, so they move on after this first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Jack is trying. He just continues to try in this movie.
Yeah, there's not a turn, in this movie you expect him to do a thing where he just gets frustrated or like Tim on Home Improvement where he just kind of acts foolish or selfish. Never happens. Chevy Chase is the greatest guy in the world in this movie, and even when mobsters try to kill him, literally, run him into the water, he doesn't say anything. He takes the blame and just is yeah, I'm just doing my best, trying to be your dad. And he's the best.
He is the best.
And we mentioned Chevy Chase, and I got to give a bio on this guy.
Please.
Best known for Federal Offense, where he plays Grandpa. No, I'm just kidding. National Lampoon's Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's European Vacation, Vegas Vacation, Caddyshack, Fletch. This has Spies Like Us.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday Night Live, he was probably the first person on that show to hit really, really big, became a sensation, one of the biggest television stars of the 70s. He's in a lot of stuff. And Hot Tub Time Machine. I really, really like Chevy Chase a lot.
I do too.
I mean, definitely early Chevy Chase, which is not a
You didn't mention Three Amigos, which also had Martin Short, who was in Jungle to Jungle.
I've never seen Three Amigos, but I guess I should. He's he's really, really good.
He's iconic. Favorite National Lampoon's Vacation movie?
Oh, the first one. Yeah, I really like the Wally World stuff. What about you?
I think the first one that I saw was Vegas Vacation, actually.
Oh, that one's the worst one.
And it is the worst, but that's the one I've seen the most.
Okay.
I actually didn't see the Christmas one until a couple of years ago.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I do like those earlier ones better now that I've seen them. But
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen European Vacation. Maybe.
It's
Maybe
actually
once.
kind of strange. It's pretty long.
You go to Europe and things get strange? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, according to that movie, yeah. He has... He won a Primetime Emmy for his work on Saturday Night Live, nominated for a couple of Golden Globes.
Beloved on Community?
Community. As he grows older, he's a little bit more crotchety in real life and kind of a jerk, and I think people have a tough time. Maybe he was always a jerk, but people have a tough time kind of grappling with that. But he was very, very funny in the 70s and 80s, huge, and even in the 90s, it's still a name, and nobody falls like Chevy Chase. I mean, one of the great fallers. It just pratfalls, physical acting. He's the best.
That's probably why he's a little crotchety now. He's just constantly in pain.
No, that's actually a thing. Yeah,
I know. He had painkiller issues.
Right.
Didn't
he? From falling. Yeah. So
poor guy.
But he's. I like his performance in this. It really works for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, now the only problem here with Jack is this Indian guide stuff starts interfering with his job.
Yeah.
So it becomes too big of a commitment. His boss is very... I don't know.
I like this guy. I like this actor because he's in Adventures in Babysitting, and I just really like that movie. So I like this guy. He's also in Wedding Crashers as well. But yeah, it's not a great role. I like how in this scene it's what does he say? He's I guess it's later on. I'm skipping ahead. JTT and Monroe are hanging at school, and I only wrote this down because it's pretty you would think this movie would be offensive because of the Native American stuff, but Monroe has a line where he's "What's with white people camping?" No brother, no. It's no brother's gonna do that, and it's so obviously written by an old white dude. It's just
super, it was very out of
super
place.
Embarrassing, very out of place. Made me uncomfortable. Next scene, the mobsters are trailing Chevy, and one note I had was I like how in these '90s Disney movies, live action movies, how normal it is for guns, for men to just have these guys have real guns throughout the whole movie, and this is supposed to be a kids movie, and it just is very strange now because
they're just walking around with assault rifles.
And it's the same with Jungle to Jungle and stuff, but now you have a kids movie and mostly they're animated, but And obviously we have a lot of issues with guns and so on. But like, it's just like so strange to watch like this slapstick kind of goofy family film and have these guys just like holding guns the whole time. I just really struck me as strange.
And they're very goofy themselves.
Yeah, like they're a caricature as well, but their guns are very, very meant to be real, you know?
Yeah, they're just walking around. And they're always keeping an eye on Jack.
They're
ready to get Sturgis at any moment.
They're biding their time. Then we get to the boss, and the boss is like very matter of fact. He's like, "Hey, this guy wants you dead." You know, it's like the way he delivers it is like it's just like so cut and dry. Like, this guy wants you dead. You know, so like, well, I don't know. I guess we'll move you. Who gives a I don't know.
You're going to Oregon.
Yeah, you're going to Oregon. But Chevy, he fights. He fights for his. I don't know why he fights, because like no one at this point in the movie is like really supporting him, but he doesn't give up.
Yeah, not even really Sandy.
I like that. There's a line in the scene where he's like, the boss is like, "Hey man, this is the '90s. Haven't you heard of PC?" I was like, "Oh man, if you had any idea where things were headed." Oh man,
I thought that was funny that was in that.
Yeah, I didn't know people were thinking about this.
You're talking about. Are you talking about the scene where they're in the court with the Native American leader? That is. Or are you talking about later? Because they say something about that too.
Yeah, it is. Well,
like he gets some like paint on his face. Remember?
There's a scene where like there's a grapefruit relay, and then we also learn that George Wendt is a stepfather, and like he offers him advice, and Chevy's like, "No, yes. I don't need it." And then, we cut to court, and, like, he is representing this Native American leader. And, JTT, and they don't, like, highlight it very much, but apparently he used paint that gave him a reaction or something.
Yeah, so he said there was nothing to it.
Yeah, you know? He has this war paint rash on his face, and the guy is upset, as he would be. And that's kind of when we get the dialogue about, like, this is the 90s, like, you can't do those kind of things, which is a good message to deliver. And he wants, he's going to take him off the case and so on. So,
yeah, I should have written down the order of these scenes.
Yeah, it's weird how you didn't take a lot of notes and don't seem to know what happened where.
You were out of order as well, and you took notes.
I'm out of order. You're out of order.
You're out of order. This whole court's out of order.
All right.
I just watched that scene earlier today.
Worth it.
After I wrote that
JTT thinks he has. He thinks he's like won. He thinks he's bested his potential stepdad, and he's talking probably Monroe on the phone. I don't know that he has any other friends. And Chevy hears, and he's sad.
Yeah, because he's been playing him for a fool, the whole time.
Yeah, playing him like a fiddle, like a fool. Did you notice in the house how there is just like a random fiddle in a corner?
No.
Yeah, there's just a fiddle. I don't know if it's art or whatever, but there's just
that's Sandy's muse.
Devil went down to Georgia. He's looking for a soul to steal. We cut to school, and I thought like this is kind of confusing because Chevy's walking through school.
Just gets into the school.
No problem getting in. No problem. And I was like, oh, he's going to see JTT, but Chet teaches woodworking, I guess, shop class, and I actually kind of like this scene. He's like, hey, I need your advice. Like, you're a stepfather. How did you do it? And he's like, yeah, I went through the same thing. And there's this kind of good line about like, our tribe is like, we have a tough time. And he's like, he thinks he's talking about like Native Americans, but he's like, no, the emotionally constipated American male over 40 tribe. Like, and just like talking about the inability of men to kind of ask for help or bond or talk about their emotions. And I like that.
Yeah. And his message to Jack is like, just don't give up, man. Just keep trying.
Keep working. It took me a long time. Yeah.
And this is enough to motivate him to keep working. But also he's kind of like, after he's been slighted by this revelation, he's going to call in the big guns.
Yeah. I did not see this coming. Nope,
this is a very, perhaps the best part of the film.
It's a huge twist.
It's a very, very big twist, and I think we should play a clip real quick as we get into it.
Let's roll it, man.
What's going on? What are you doing here? I thought you were leaving.
Why would I leave? I live here.
Jack's decided not to quit the Indian Guides after all. Isn't that wonderful?
You're kidding.
Absolutely not. And to prove it, I'd like you to meet someone. Ben, this is Leonard Red Crow. Leonard, meet Ben.
How?
Excuse me, did you just say how?
Just kidding. I always like to say that. It makes people laugh.
Leonard's the chief of the Salish Indian tribe. I've asked him to help make the Minnetonka the best tribe in the whole Indian Guide Nation. What do you think of that?
Great.
I knew you'd be thrilled.
The teachings of values and skills to children has always been a very important part of Indian life. Besides, I can use the beads and trinkets Jack offered me. I'm just kidding again. You know, Ben, you're going to have to learn to loosen up.
Leonard is going to teach us how to do a real rain dance.
Rain dance. This is Seattle. What's the point of that?
Who do you think's responsible for all the rain?
All right, so before we get into this amazing montage that we're about to talk about, this scene, just like you said, a crazy curveball. So
Some clever camera work as well.
very clever. JTT feels, I mean, like as he's rollerblading home from, I guess,
it's some fancy rollerblading too.
He's rollerblading backwards. It's really just
He's got the world by the tail.
showcase.
Got the world by its tail.
And in the background, they've got "Hit the Road, Jack." So you know he's feeling pretty good. He enters home. The last thing he expects to see is Jack, and not only is Jack sitting there on a chair, like just perched, waiting, and then Sandy is by his side. Then all of a sudden, there's a surprise guest that he wants to introduce him to, and that is the man that we saw in court earlier, who apparently Jack had offended, and his name is
Leonard Red Crow.
Leonard Red Crow. Do you have any bio on him?
He's played by Chief Leonard George. In terms of bio, we're going to find out. He's been in some things. Okay, here we go. 18 credits to his name. He's in a film called Smoke Signals, Little Big Man, Chili Dogs, and The Peacemakers.
Also MacGyver.
Wow, Moose TV. He actually, sadly, passed away in 2017, December of last year. And he is from British Columbia. He's Canadian. But yeah, I like this guy. And this is an interesting turn. And it also is I want to say this the right way. It's a clever turn if you're making a film like this because it kind of gives you creative license to do more
whatever you want for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, with the Native American culture in their work. So it's I like it and it works, but it also it does effectively let hey, we have this guy here so we can kind of do whatever.
Yeah. Brings an air of legitimacy for the rest they're about to do.
Definitely, so and I'm glad they used an actual Native American as well. So
keeps the PC police away.
Yeah.
And he does immediately calls attention to it. He says how.
Yeah.
And then JTT says did you really just say that?
Yeah.
And so he's calling the big guns, and they're gonna. I mean, I guess the idea is that they're gonna learn some real Native American stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know what the idea is, but
the idea is
all I know is everybody dance now.
Oh man, I mean, let's not even talk about what the idea is, but all right, so my favorite genre of film, probably comedy, I would say. My favorite subgenre of film are films that use CNC Music Factory Everybody Dance Now. And there's a lot of them. But I did not see this coming.
They've made a lot of money off of that song just for movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But, I kind of want to look up how many movies have used that song. Do you want to describe the montage a little bit?
Oh, okay, so they're basically going to have the Minnetonks, which I guess we didn't say that, but that's the name of their tribe or whatever. They're going to learn some authentic Native American skills, cultural practices, all that kind of stuff. So this montage is kind of just an aggregate of that. So they start out with doing a rain dance. And as it begins, Jack is all into it. Everyone else is all into it, but Ben he's not into it, and he's playing aloof. He doesn't want to commit to this silliness,
right.
And
but they're having so much fun.
Everyone's dancing. They're having a good time. Then they start getting into archery.
Oh yeah,
and that's really where Ben starts to open up. At first, his first shot goes into a tire. Bad first attempt, but by the end of the montage... Is it
supposed to be Chevy Chase's car?
I don't know. I didn't.
Okay. I don't know.
It could be. That car won't last long, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's true.
And by the end of the montage, though, he can hit a bullseye every time.
Yeah. I mean, it's... The best part of the montage is somewhere along the line, they start dancing. They start doing a rain dance, and they make sweatshirts. I mean, this montage covers a lot. Like, a lot of stuff happens in this montage. Like, they make sweatshirts. They all wear the sweatshirts, and then you got and I gotta find some. I gotta find
You know who made these sweatshirts though?
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, she's
artist.
Even buying it.
She's an artist. Yeah. So and they're doing a rain dance, and it's the 4 fathers and the 4 sons, and they're all doing a choreographed dance in these white crew neck sweatshirts. And man, I loved it. And it's good dancing too. They did a lot of clapping, kind of dancing around. It was a fantastic scene.
This is the same exact thing that weren't you in the vehicle when Jared pulled over and taught you guys how to do the Soldier Boy or something?
Yeah, I was there, but it wasn't nearly as good as this. And no one actually wanted to be taught how to crank that Soldier Boy. That was just something that Jared wanted to show us that he could do, which is it's a pretty easy dance, to be honest. Monroe drives by and he's like, nah, not for me. But it's the group dance and the CNC music, and it's all good, man.
It's all good.
I'm on the Wikipedia page, so let me just talk about uses of this song. Gonna make you sweat. Everybody dance now. Okay. Song is played in many films. Hold on to your hat, Jordan, because you're about to be blown away by something.
All right, bring it on.
Okay. Including The Super, Sister Act, Man of the House 1995, Man of the House 2005.
Whoa! Do you think they were such big fans of the film that they paid homage to it by playing that song?
They're like, hey, there's a rule where if you have the title of your film, Man of the House, you have to use this song.
It's written in the contract, I'm sorry.
Space Jam, Something's Gotta Give, Robots, Jarhead, Chicken Little, A Fairly Odd Summer, Old School, Evan Almighty, Detention, Pain and Gain, Superstar, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, Flushed Away, Madagascar, Escape to Africa, The Middle, So You Think You Can Dance, The Office, King of Queens, A River Runs Through, Bob's Burgers, American Crime Story, O.J. Simpson, Applebee's commercial, Pringles commercial, NBA 2K18, episode of Dr. Ken, and many, many more.
Wow. NBA 2K18, why did they do that?
Yeah, why not? Because it's associated with the 90s, probably.
I guess so.
That feature.
Wow.
But it's a great scene, incredible. Great montage, fantastic.
Yeah, very good. It leaves us with kind of an optimistic feeling because by the end of it, everybody's into it, including Ben.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're starting to connect.
Immediately after the rain dance, JTT goes to sleep and Chevy Chase tucks him with a blanket, and that's a sign of things going better.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The next morning, Norm, or rather Chevy's like, hey, George went. Chet said that Norm doesn't really have a lot of friends. I thought maybe you could have him over for a sleepover. JTT's pretty reluctant, and this is, again, I feel so bad for this Norm kid because he's so nice. But eventually, Chevy talks him into it. He says, hey, I even got you an authentic teepee. Then we cut to that scene, and it's really sweet. They're up on this sweet rooftop terrace, and they have this teepee, and they have the skyline behind them. And Norm gives JTT a vest that he made. I don't know how you could possibly skip this scene. It's the saddest thing. It's so heartbreaking. And he made it himself, and it has beads, and he spent a lot of time on it.
He spent a lot of time on it,
and he's like, I don't have a lot of friends, so I had time to do this, and it's...
And I think that statement is probably what wins over Ben, because even during this, he's not really that excited to have him over.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's like, man, I gotta buy in here. Yeah. This guy's really nice. He did this for me, so let's go play some video games.
He's like, you want to play video games? And then they're talking about some... I mean, it sounded made up. I don't know if it actually was, but... Yeah, some
Norm was like,
game.
What's a video game? I don't have friends to play video games with.
Yeah, he's like, my dad only lets me watch that guy pantomime, so...
I hope not. Oh, boy. So, yeah, the more bonding between really everybody. Everybody's getting friends, except for Monroe. Monroe is really losing
We're about to talk Monroe. So, JTT wears his vest to school, which is, man, that is a power move, because you wear a vest like that to school... Especially if you're 12, you're going to get made fun of. So it really shows that he's coming around. Even Monroe makes fun of him. We look down the hallway.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, he even calls him out on it. He says, what are you wearing?
Yeah, for sure. And JTT's like, hey, man, I knew you were going to make fun of me. There's bullies that are bullying Norman down at the end of the hallway that look to be 15 years older than the kid they're bullying.
Least.
These kids are... They have kids of their own. They're so old.
Yeah, they work at the local factory and
for
just
sure.
have the day
Yeah,
off
they're working blue collar jobs, and slowly investing into a 401k. But they shove Norman in a locker, and JTT goes down there and does like weird kung fu. Would you call it kung fu?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's some sort of...
It has nothing to do with Native American culture whatsoever.
It's definitely some sort of martial art. I don't know where he's getting it from, and I don't know why he's doing it.
It's in the trailer, I remember. And yeah, like we kind of think like, oh, what's going to happen here? And then it cuts and they're both stuffed in lockers.
Yeah, I guess I'm glad they didn't make it unrealistic and have him like kick the crap out of him.
I know, it would have been cool though.
Montage of him beating him up.
Yeah, just really roughing these 7 feet tall middle schoolers up.
Just when you think everything's going all right, besides getting stuck in a locker, things start to go wrong again, and it's not really of Jack's fault, but you know he doesn't want to explain that yet. So anyways, what happens is everybody's getting ready to go on a canoe trip, and for some reason Ben is with everybody else, but Jack isn't there yet. So
I don't get that either. I'm not entirely sure what happened.
I'm not sure how we got there, but everybody's they're all loaded up. They're gonna go on a canoe trip. Everybody's there, and Jack's like, "Oh, I gotta go. I gotta make it here, or else we'll be late, and I won't be able to show up." And just as he's on his way, it turns out that his Ford Explorer is not quite up to par because the brakes have been cut.
Sturgis. We got your way. We watch it. We cut your brakes. They mentioned earlier in the movie that like they don't want to kill him with a gun because it'll be too obvious. Yeah. So this is where that manifests, I suppose.
So this is going to be an accident. So things get out of control very quickly.
Because there's no way the cop would like look at it and see that his brakes were cut and suspect these guys. I mean, brakes being cut isn't suspicious whatsoever. You know?
It happens all the time, you know? It must have been some sort of squirrel went up there and chewed through.
Yeah, as an animal.
Animals. So, he's driving through. It's supposed to be intense, I mean, he's got
not bad. It's not bad for like a Disney. It's considerably more intense than anything that happens in Jungle to Jungle, I would say, if we're doing a comparison. It's okay.
Yeah, it's out of control, and cars are getting out of the way. Just when you think he's going to run into something, he ends up running into the water. Everyone thinks this guy's dead. I guess there's like dock workers that come out, and they don't jump in the water to help or anything.
Yeah, no, they're just
watching. They're like, oh man, why hasn't anybody come back up yet? And eventually, and we do see Joey and his 2 goons as well. They're kind of there watching, and
yeah, they're watching, and they're like, we got to get out of here before somebody spots us. And it's like, you're standing with like 3 people on a dock. Everybody else works there. You guys are all wearing suits and have like grease in your hair. Do you think maybe you already look a little bit out of place? I don't know.
Nope, we're fine. Don't worry about it. Right, they probably also have like their assault rifle out.
Yeah. I mean, later on the dialogue these guys deliver is, oh man, very on the nose. Like they might as well just be wearing like guilty T-shirts the whole movie because they are. Yeah, they're not good at going incognito.
They're
not
definitely
like there's Richie Incognito, the football player. He was good at going incognito, but these guys aren't.
No, they're rotten to the core as well.
Yeah, so was Richie. Richie was pretty rotten as well. If you remember that bullying thing you went through.
Yeah, a lot of bullying talk on this podcast.
I don't know. It's a PSA almost.
Are you bringing up some bad memories that you had?
I never was bullied too bad, but I know you were shoved in more than your fair share of lockers.
By you.
When people found out you went to that Cheers bar in Cincinnati, they really let you have it.
Boy, did they.
They said, the Cheers bar in Columbus is the better one.
They're like, why are you at a bar? You're 11.
You don't even drink as an adult. This is confusing.
So when they're confused and they shove me in the locker. A lot of everyone's probably anticipating, like, did he survive? Did Jack make it out?
I was like,
we haven't decided or not.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when I was 5 when I saw this in theaters, I was curious of that, but yeah, not much concern for me this time around.
He does pop up, and Jack does survive. He avoided death for now. Ends up in the Puget Sound, I guess, is where they say this is. But he did survive this, but he's gonna miss that important canoe trip. And they pan back to Ben, and he's really upset. And he's so upset that the waterworks start coming out.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have to leave without their dad, or his soon-to-be possibly dad. And I don't know. It was a lot of waterworks. I guess it was pretty good by him.
Oh yeah, he cries pretty well in this. He's actually pretty convincing in these scenes. And we head home, and that's really where the bulk of the crying kind of happens, or on his way home. But yeah, it's convincing. Probably, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine him doing this on Home Improvement, but it does work here. Chevy arrives home, and he doesn't tell the truth about what's happened.
Isn't he very wet as well?
Yeah, and they're like, he's like, it rained, and they're like, it didn't rain.
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
just conceals.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it. Seems like
you'd press probably. You'd want to, and you'd also notice his car was missing. You know.
Also, like, if you're Jack, why aren't you? I guess he doesn't want to make excuses. Maybe
I don't know. This is one of the. I mean, this really didn't. This seemed false to me. Like, this just doesn't ring true. I don't really understand why he wouldn't, like, tell the police, get someone watching outside of his house, or at least tell them. Like, I think he doesn't want to, like, worry them, I guess. But, you know, if somebody's cutting your brakes and, like, you're actually kind of, it would be better if you did tell them, because you're putting them more at risk by, like, just kind of hiding it, you know?
Yeah, because they could be targets next.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this is the point where Jack's boss tells him, like, we're going to put you in witness protection in Oregon until this blows over. But he's like, no, I gotta repair this relationship.
Yeah, and he's already told JTT, he's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to make it up to you on this big camping trip that's coming up. And JTT's like not having any of it, but
no, he doesn't want to go.
I think they cut to that wave again. You know, I think around this time they show his father driving away in that wave again. So
they've still got a couple more of those to put in, so they might as well do one now. So he's trying, you know, right now to win Ben back, and it's not very successful. But he remembers Chet's advice to just keep trying.
Just keep living, in the words of Matthew McConaughey.
And, you know, just keep swimming in another Disney film.
Mm-hmm.
Finding Nemo.
Who does that relate to?
Finding Nemo?
That's it. That's the relation.
Just keep swimming. Just keep trying.
Oh, I've not seen it.
Oh man.
I know. It always surprises people. Sorry. I only like good movies. Jungle the Jungle, Man of the House, 2005. You know,
not Finding Nemo.
El Camino Christmas. I like art. All right, so we're it cuts quickly. We are now at the camping trip. I thought you know, it was kind of abrupt almost, but you know, it's been 80 minutes. We gotta wrap this thing up. So Chevy wants to sing Louie Louie. And they do,
baby,
and it's another great song. You know, they really nailed it with the music in this one. I gotta say.
I saw something.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah,
they were trying to get the soundtrack, but they couldn't get the rights to one of the songs or something.
Yeah, like a couple of them. And they even advertised it as like going to come out and stuff, and they ended up not being able to get the rights. So kind of.
What a bummer.
It is a good. The movie soundtrack is good, or the music in the movie is strong. I thought this worked as well.
It did. So it's another bonding experience. I don't think Ben sings to this song.
No, he's sour again. You know, he didn't in the beginning. He didn't care, and it was kind of easy, and he could just act standoffish. But then he kind of got lured in, and now he's hurt. So
now his heart's broken. This is exactly why he doesn't care.
No, this is why he doesn't want to.
This is just like Hitch. You know that?
Yeah.
You know when Will Smith gets hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't remember Hitch. Hitch is not as important to me as it is to you.
I do own it on DVD.
I know,
so I guess
it is. It's one of your favorite movies.
It's semi-important.
You also love Kevin Can Wait, the new Kevin James TV show on CBS.
You know, it's basically a rehash of what was the King of Queens. So
yeah,
gotta love that.
You gotta love that, especially in this current climate. You know, it is a lot like Hitch. I'll just take your word for it. What was I gonna say?
I don't know, that Hitch thing really.
That Hitch, you bring in Hitch, man. It throws me off. You know, it's a good movie, Suicide Squad. Will Smith really, he's on a good trajectory. You
talked about Hancock earlier.
Did I?
Yeah, somebody. We're really getting down the Will Smith rabbit hole here.
Yeah. Hancock's okay. Okay, great music. There's a line here I kind of like. So Chevy's trying to cheer him up, and he's like, this teepee is pretty hard to put up. Can you imagine putting up a 2-bedroom teepee? And JTT's like, no, but it's an amusing concept. It's like really deadpan. It's pretty funny.
I did not remember that.
Yeah. But he's icy.
Yeah, he's
and this
icy.
is where the pantomime fella, whose name is Silent
Thunder Lloyd, I believe.
I was going to say Silent Fury. Silent Thunder. He's like Chevy brings him over and he's like, let's make this kid laugh. And they just do a lot of physical comedy with a teepee and a hammer and boards, and it's really funny.
My guess is that they the only reason this guy was cast was for this scene right here.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah, I mean, hey, it could go on as real. That's for sure.
That's
Works
for
me.
sure.
I was sold. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm his.
Lots of hijinks, lots of, things hitting you in the face and not being able to set it up properly.
Mm-hmm.
The real bummer is at the end of it, Jack still has to sleep underneath this
He should have gone back
shelter.
and actually done a good job. I mean, it's one thing to do a bit, but at the end you got to go back and, really put the work in. But,
Where does Ben sleep?
Interesting question. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know. Hopefully with Norman.
Yeah, he's hanging out with Norm. I hope he's not just sleeping outside.
Norm? Yeah, no. I mean, Chevy, he gets bit by a mosquito in the morning. That's how he wakes up. He slaps himself in the face. Crowd went wild.
Real slapstick.
From here on out, yeah, my notes are pretty sporadic. It's weird. The movie's kind of slow and well paced, and then in the end, there's so many things that happen in the last 10 minutes. It's pretty wild.
It takes off.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And why don't you take off with it, Jordan? What do you got next?
What do I got next? I think pretty quickly.
I don't think you know what you have next.
No, I told you I didn't take notes. But yeah, I think they also show at the same time. They show the mafioso guys.
I got it. I know. Okay, I know. Right. Okay,
coming to get him.
So Chevy, it's a campfire, and he
he
takes a bold approach here.
Can I just say I'm gonna cut out a ton of this terrible stuff because it makes us sound terrible. Anyways, bring this up.
Yeah. So Chevy is at the campfire. And, he's got a story to tell. And what he does is he essentially, tells the story of Jonathan Taylor Thomas's dad leaving him. And, he tells their story, what has happened with JTT and Chevy coming in and how he doesn't really trust him. But he uses, Native American names and a Native American voice, which is not great.
But he also says at the same time, did you catch?
Yeah, he says
this is...
What does he say?
Yeah, he says this is not how Native Americans talk.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of trying to play it on.
They're trying to have their cake and eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Too.
They're trying to play it at both ends, but at least they make an effort to say that, I guess. And he essentially tells JTT the story of his life, which is a bold move. And you wonder if the other kids there, do they understand what's happening, or is this lost on them? Do the dads know? Do the dads know kind of what he's getting at?
Probably, and the kids seem to react, and it sounds like a lot of them have similar situations where this.
Okay. Are they all stepdads or no?
No, I don't think so. But this, this Indian guide group was really something that they were struggling with bonding before that, except for maybe Silent Thunder and his son. Yeah, I don't remember what his son's name is.
Well, he doesn't talk, so I don't know that we get it. And they do a lot of that was a strange thing. It's not that there's any problem with them not talking. It's just that they are choosing not to, and then just kind of acting. I don't know. It's bizarre. That whole thing is bizarre to me. Chevy tells a story, and that's essentially it. Next morning.
I remember now.
Yeah, he goes to
fill up with the water.
Yeah, he has to go fill up the water, and this is really funny because these guys, their lines here are It reminded me of this scene. Have you ever seen the movie Role Models? Maybe not. Okay, fine. Why would you have?
Yeah.
There's a scene.
I've seen Man of the House.
There's a scene where Elizabeth Banks is a lawyer, and she's representing this guy in the beginning of the movie, and she's like, "You should just take a deal." You should just take a deal. They have you on camera robbing this bank, and he's like, "No, they don't. I didn't do it." And she puts in the footage, and it's very clearly him robbing the bank, and he's like, "That could have been anybody." And then she turns up the volume, and he's like, "Hey, look it, this is me, David Roberts, robbing a bank." And this kind of reminded me of that because their dialogue is "We're gonna kill this Sturgis. We're gonna get Sturgis back for what he did to my dad. We're gonna." It's just very on the nose. It's exactly what their plan is. It's very, very written so that
way
Jonathan
Ben
Taylor
knows
Thomas,
exactly what happened.
Very quickly know exactly what has happened. Yeah.
They even start out by saying "Oh, the brake thing didn't work."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We really and he's like, "The brakes. That's why he was late." Oh my gosh. I know everything in 10 seconds.
He also knows that they're kind of pretty good at fishing.
Yeah, go on.
So one of these guys is in the water, like in the river, the same river that JTT is supposed to get some water from, and he sticks his hand in the water and he grabs some fish, and he's just very proud of himself. He's like, I never knew I could fish.
It is impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems pretty impressive. He wants to go fishing just leisurely moving forward after they quote, kill this Sturgis.
Maybe that moment is to show Ben that these guys are serious killers.
Savage. Yeah, they're so scary. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So he goes back and he's like, hey,
why didn't you tell me?
And he's like, I actually don't really know. I should have. It didn't make sense. He's
Good
like,
point,
I
kid.
wanted to protect you. He's like, get out of here, everybody. And they're like, we could help. He's like, no, I'll do this on my own. I'm going to die. And he
sends all of the Indian guides to go get help.
Yeah, and he runs through the woods and very promptly, he's Chevy Chase, so he falls pretty quickly, rolls down a hill, almost gets hit by a log.
He hears a noise.
JTT arrives to help him, and he's like, hey, I'm with you, man. We're gonna get through this together. And he
forgot one important detail.
What's that?
He not only doesn't almost get hit by a log, it traps his foot.
Oh, see, I didn't even notice that.
So, first he couldn't get out of there unless Ben came back. Second, he's hobbled, so now he can't leave as well. So they gotta stay. Yeah, okay. They gotta stay and fight.
That makes more sense. I did not know that. Okay, all right. JTT is like, we got to listen to Chief Red Crow and listen to nature, and it will guide us. And very quickly, they hear the buzzing of some bees, and a very large, fake-looking bee's nest is just 5 feet away. So we know they're going to use that somehow. Next page.
And they sure do. So the cronies start coming down, trying to find them. And as they are doing so, I guess they kind of, they know they can't run. I don't know why they wouldn't just hide in plain sight. I don't think these guys are very good trackers.
Yeah.
So my guess is if you just hid in a good area in this forest that seems pretty heavily wooded, that you could just avoid them.
That's so temporary, though. They're thinking, this has to end now. This ends now. They're just going to keep coming. It's futile. They're just going to keep coming after him. So this needs to end today. This needs to end right now, Jordan.
Okay. Well, they're going to do that by they kind of show themselves. They show themselves to. I guess they split up, don't they?
Yeah.
Joey and the two cronies split
Everything
up.
comes together so quickly. It's crazy how rushed this. All of this happens in a minute. It's crazy.
So I think Tony. Is his name Tony? Are we sure? It's Joey. It's Joey.
Yeah,
that's
Joey.
what it is.
Yeah.
Just say Tony. Murray and Tony. Those are the other guys. Mm-hmm. All right. So Joey is off somewhere else. Murray and Tony find these two, Ben and Jack, and they start off by shooting. They shoot the bee's nest for some reason. I guess they want to make the bees angry. But then Jack throws the tomahawk, and it knocks the bee's nest down, and it lands on them and goes everywhere. My guess is they probably didn't need to shoot the bee's nest first.
Did they shoot the bee's nest? I saw that JTT shot it with a bow and arrow.
He did. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Why did he need to shoot it?
Why did he need to shoot it? Oh, I thought you were talking about the mouth. Yeah, it's unclear. You probably could have just gone right to the
I think they just want to show off Ben's archery skills.
I mean, he is good. We've seen him hit a bullseye earlier in the movie after
we
getting a tire. So.
One thing we didn't talk about was the tomahawk thrown in the montage.
Don't remember it. There's a lot of things. Movies are hard. We can only talk about so much. You can only go so in depth on these kind of, especially a movie like this where there's just so many important things happening that you have to kind of pick and choose what you talk about.
It's true.
Yeah, it's
but
hard.
There is a joke where Jack, they're throwing tomahawks at a fake figure, and he hits him right below the crotch, and that's just low-hanging fruit, for this kind of movie. Mm-hmm.
Literally low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So
these guys are getting stung by bees.
The two lackeys are they're getting stung up, and there's some really bad bee stinging makeup later on. It's really bad. But Joey comes around, and he's got him, and he's got his big Tommy gun out again. Crazy. This is a kids movie. The plan is, it's always in these movies where you could just if you wanted to just kill these people, shoot them and kill them. But he does a more complicated, complex thing and really draws it out. So don't
blow it yet.
Okay, all right.
Because we've got a clip coming for what's going to happen here. Because this is very important.
I was going to blow it. Okay, all right.
Very important. So it might be a little bit of a longer clip, but I think
worth it. You're gonna be glad you listened to it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Not so tough now, are you, Sturgis? Hey, if you want to beg for your life like a little worm, go ahead.
You know, Joey, I have to say I expected something better than this from you.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on, Joey. The old seal 'em up in an abandoned mine with dynamite routine.
What's wrong with it?
It's boring, that's what it is. Shows a complete lack of imagination.
Yeah, right. And I suppose you could think of something better?
Without even trying. You could hurl us off a cliff onto some jagged rocks, for example.
That's not any better.
Yeah, but first you could drill holes in the back of our head with a power tool to make it look like an industrial accident. That makes it better. Well, if you were really clever, you'd wrap us up in wet rawhide, so when it dried out, it'd mash up all our bones and squeeze our internal organs out through our orifices like a tube of toothpaste. I saw it on America's Most Wanted.
Let me tell you something, Sturgis. This kid is sick. If I wasn't gonna kill the two of yous, I'd suggest you get him psychiatric help immediately. Tony, go ahead. Light the fuse before this little demento gets any more ideas. Bye-bye, Sturgis! Bye-bye, kid!
Jack, what are we gonna do?
Don't worry, Ben. It'll be okay.
What the hell is this? Charades?
He says throw down your weapons or else he'll turn you into large, stupid-looking pincushions. Actually, he didn't say stupid-looking. I added that.
Yeah, right. Like I'm really gonna surrender to one screwball with a bow and arrow. Murray, put a bullet in his head.
Excuse me there. Point of order. I believe it is illegal to possess firearms in a state park. As a duly authorized representative of the Department of Motor Vehicles, a state agency, I'm gonna have to confiscate those weapons.
Oh, now there's two of them. I'm really scared.
We're surrounded. What do we do now, Joey?
They got little bows and arrows. You got guns. What do you think you do? Shoot them.
Okay, guys, let them have it.
Okay, that's it. No more playing around.
I don't think so, Joey. Red, here's another piece of garbage you can add to the pile.
Sure thing, squatting dog. Okay, dirtbags, on your feet. Remember, no smart stuff. I got the gun. Come on, get up. Come on, get up, get up, get up, get up. Wow. Get up.
You guys okay?
Couldn't be better, Chet. Thanks for coming back.
Hey, we're Indian guides. And Indian guides stick together. That's what it's all about. Besides, if we tried to get to that ranger station, we would have got lost in about 8 seconds.
You know what you want to do to make this look like an accident? Like, that's his whole goal. You put them in, like, an abandoned mine, I guess. I don't really know. And then you rig it with dynamite because this is, like, an episode of Looney Tunes, and we've got Wile E. Coyote here or something.
They light the fuse. It's a slow burning fuse, mind you.
So slow.
And, who comes out and saves them, Jordan?
Silent Thunder. He shoots an arrow, stops that fuse.
Yeah, the arrow hits the fuse and like puts it out. It's insane. It would be very difficult.
It's insane. They turn around and they're like, "What's going on here?" And you know what Silent Thunder does? This seems like a good time for miming.
It's appropriate. Hey, I mean, like, that's what he does, so why are we surprised?
He's miming, like, put up your dukes. Basically, I'll take you all on by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy, Joey's like, all right, let's waste this Joker.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what this guy's... He's like, I know about Sturgis, but I don't trust this guy.
And then Art, the Poindexter, says, point of order.
Yeah,
You're not allowed to have a gun.
Yeah, that was dumb. That was stupid.
Yeah, because the rest of this is really good.
Well, that really stuck in my craw.
So yeah, I mean, there's the cheesy stuff of like we're surrounded and they
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You mentioned it's kind of like the ending of a Power Rangers episode, which is about right.
Yeah.
Their powers combined, they equal Captain Planet of some sort.
Commandeer the gun, and he gets jacked. I think they jacked the guy in the face with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Joey's gonna shoot these guys in the face because he's like, oh yeah, I still have a gun.
Right.
And quickly, Jack steps up.
Yeah, like, why not just do that sooner, Save all the pageantry.
He wanted to see how this would play out.
Hey, I did too, and it was good. It was good. Satisfying. It was not abrupt in any way whatsoever.
So, all right. So, effectively, these guys are captured. Chet says they turned around pretty quickly because they would have gotten lost. They couldn't find the park ranger. Which leads me to wonder how they're going to get out of this forest with these 3 criminals.
Yeah. Because this is before cell phones, So we got to remember this whole movie's before cell phones. Everything would be a lot different with cell phones. It's like the lamest form of like cultural criticism. It's like, how would this be different with phones? I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. We got to get back to that. Got to get back to that collage, though, Jordan.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, we saw it in the beginning. We know it's very important to Ben and Farrah Fawcett.
It's really going to wrap things up.
While we're talking about Farrah Fawcett, I'm yet to do a bio for her, so I will do one quickly. Farrah Fawcett, best known for that poster, I would say. It's like one of the most famous best-selling posters of all time. I think it came out right around the time of Charlie's Angels. So Charlie's Angels, Cannonball Run, Logan's Run, Extremities, Saturn 3. She was just always very popular. I feel like even in the 90s when we were young, I feel like she was definitely still a name. She was nominated for 5 Golden Globes, Small Sacrifices, Charlie's Angels, Burning Bed, a couple of other things. Married to Ryan O'Neal for a couple of different times, and sadly passed away in 2009, which I had forgotten until we did this, which she was only 62, so that's quite sad. But unfortunately, it's just not a great role for her. It has nothing to do with her and her performance. It's just not especially well written. She just kind of...
Her character's written as just kind of like a jerk.
Yeah, she's like a shrew, kind of. She just stands to tell the man that he's not doing good enough, and she's a good mother, I suppose, but it's not her best role, certainly, but, good to have her in the fold, nonetheless.
So, back to the wall. I guess they all went to the beach together, and Jack found the perfect thing to complete their collage, and puts it on the wall. It makes a circle.
It's just crazy because JTT is, so dumbfounded by the... he's like... Wait, look what you did! He probably did it on purpose. It was. I
mean, you've got 3/4 of a circle.
Yeah, why wouldn't you put it there? He's like, look what you did, Mom! Come look what he did, and is somehow symbolic for they're now a circle. And it reminded me of the circle of trust from Meet the Parents or something like that. But it's symbolic, and I think it also it's a circle like a wedding ring. So it means they're going to get married. I think.
Go into the chat. They go up to that. I guess it's on the rooftop.
They get married at their house. That's one way to do it.
That is one way to do it. I mean, they've had campfires up there. They've done many things up there.
It's almost like they didn't want to pay for another set to be built or something,
Wise.
Yeah. Voiceover returns.
JTT is back. Everyone's back for this scene except for the criminals.
It's kind of crazy. It's basically it reminded me of the end of Animal House, where it's where are they now? Animal House ends and you got
that's how it is, really.
Yeah, Bluto became a state senator, whatever, and it's like that. It's so we see every person at the wedding and we kind of pause, and JTT does a voiceover.
This is what they're doing now.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what everyone's doing.
Well, my favorite part was just that Monroe got a voiceover. It's like, we don't really know a lot about, like, why is this character getting a follow-up, you know? But
I did notice that Monroe's parents weren't there.
Yeah, what's up with that? Yeah, Monroe's parents weren't there. They give him, he's handed some kind of a feather, I guess. And
it's a feather cap thing.
Yeah, JTT says that he's thinking about getting into it, so he's coming around, which is, again, why I say, like, sequel, Monroe of the house. Jack, what did I write here? JTT does the classic, like, I lost the wedding ring bit, which I like, where he's like, you know, he's about to hand him the ring, he's like checking his pockets and stuff. It's like, I don't know, you gotta be a pretty confident kid to try that one out.
You know, you gotta give him some guff. If you're gonna let him in your life now, you still gotta give him a hard time.
Right, but everybody's there, they all stop. There's nothing especially meaningful said. Everybody's happy. The last line of the movie is kind of strange, I thought. JTT's like, nothing is perfect, is it? Like, what does that mean? Like, that's not especially uplifting lines. Like, nothing in the world is perfect, is it?
Well, they talk about that a couple times because, like, at the end, right before they get married, as they're leaving the forest and all this kind of stuff, they're like, those are some weird guys, but I love them, or something like that. So I don't know.
Like it's just his friends aren't as cool as he wants them to be. He's like he's like a dork, and he's just kind of coming around to that. I don't know.
I guess so.
Well, nothing's perfect, is it? Except for this film. Roll credits, fade to black. Man of the house. Oof, Jordan. We've been talking about this for a while. How do we highs and lows?
I guess so.
I say we keep it brief.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it brief. Overall, I think you liked it more than I did. You know, it is a kids movie, but man, there's some really like outrageous stuff that happens. Like, the characters are so cartoonish. The villains in this film, that like they're just not believable at all. Their lines are terrible. Like you said, like they just Sturgis and all this kind of crap. And then the montage was perhaps my favorite part. Just came out of nowhere, really amped up the level of the film. As far as like the way they escape these criminals, obviously ridiculous. Would not ever work. And I find JTT's relationship with his mother quite troubling. So I actually liked Jungle to Jungle better, if I had to pick. So I guess if I had to, like, I don't know, do we put percentages on this?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, it wasn't the worst.
Is that something you want to do?
No, I don't necessarily want. I definitely don't want to get out the Wilsometer. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my favorite film that we've covered. Let's just say that.
Well, Jordan, let me just go ahead and tell you, you're dead wrong on most of what you're saying.
I think you have rose-colored glasses.
I just watched
remembered
it this morning. I just saw it. I mean, you can only say that if it's been, you know.
I guess so. I just remembered it being better than it was. That's how I will frame it.
Maybe my expectations were more tempered. I mean, I agree with you. The villains are by far the worst part of the movie. Like that is very cheeseball, and like the Sturgis and like just their general demeanor, like with like they're wearing like 3-piece suits in the woods, and like they never even unbutton the button. Like it's just like it's not great. But I mean the rest of it, like I laughed a lot. I really liked Chevy Chase here. I liked George Wendt. I thought JTT was very, very strong. The montage was great. The music was great. I just found it to be fun. I liked it. I mean, I liked it a lot more than Jungle to Jungle. Like, I wouldn't even put them. I mean, of course, they're on the same plane, of course, but I just like this one so much more. And I agree, the ending is like kind of whatever and rushed, but the ending with the wedding, that's pretty good stuff. No, I just liked that. I thought the scenes with Norman were kind of heartfelt, and it's funny and it's fun, and yeah, I mean, in terms of what we've covered, I guess I can't say it's better than the Santa Claus, but it's definitely my second favorite film that we've covered, and the third and fourth are quite a ways away from this one. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was pleasantly surprised.
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Boy, what do we do next? I guess
you want to do some reviews. You want to talk about what the people thought?
Yeah, let's get some other people's takes.
All right, so as we said earlier, this has a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like, okay. Just shows me that Rotten Tomatoes is broken, basically.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, it's not that bad. It only has 14 reviews, so but the audience rating is a 32%, which is pretty low. I mean,
I would say like 60%.
I mean, I guess like you watch this, like if these scores were tabulated when it came out, I'm sure it would have been different. Like 81% of Google users liked it. I feel like it's a movie that people enjoyed at the time, but I don't know. Like, it's not a movie that critics are gonna like. Of course. Okay, so I have some reviews. The actual critic ones aren't especially interesting, so I found some user ones below. This one comes from Connor Rainwater. It's got to be a made-up name. 3.5 stars. Hilarious. Well, I thought it was anyway. It has Chevy Chase as the worst/greatest stepdad to ever live. It's practically the only movie Disney ever released involving broken homes, so it automatically gets points for being original. The mob killing plot that somehow fit into the clubs and bonding sessions was a little extreme, but it made sense in the 90s. If only more mainstream movies were this oddball. I wouldn't say Chevy Chase. I wouldn't say Chevy Chase is the worst stepdad. Like, what does he? Does he ever do anything bad?
I think Chevy Chase is like the best stepdad.
Yeah, it isn't. That's an interesting point though about a broken family. I guess you probably wouldn't see that in a lot of Disney movies. No. Although in Jungle to Jungle, isn't that family kind of broken as well?
Yeah, I think oddball is a really good word to describe it though.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be oddball, so I guess that was my problem.
All right, so this is a really long review. I'm just going to kind of cherry pick a couple lines. 1 star from Alex Roy. It's a very cheesy comedy that has a wasted cast. I thought the film was pretty bad, and it didn't really offer anything good for the viewer. The script was underdeveloped, and the cast simply didn't do it for me. I felt the film tried too hard at being sentimental, and it ultimately became forgettable. It was boring and not interesting. It had wasted potential of being fun, but it wasn't. Skipping down. There are plenty of good family-oriented comedies that have been released in this period, but Man of the House is not one of them. This is just a poorly constructed film that doesn't have anything going for it. The film simply isn't worth your time. Watch something else. That guy just doesn't give any examples, though. He's like, it could have been better. It was underdeveloped. The cast didn't do it for me. I don't know. It's kind of a lame review.
Yeah.
Screw that guy. Go to hell. Yeah. 2 more. 2 stars from Megan S.
Uh-oh.
Sadly, I own this movie on VHS because of my adolescent obsession with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I thought it was pretty amusing at the time. That's it.
That's it.
That's all.
Cliffhanger, huh?
Yeah, and then one more here comes from Clint Morris. This is really showing. Chevy Chase can save most movies from being the dog they might otherwise be. So there you have it.
There you have it.
That's it.
14% is
it's crazy low. I mean, there's just not enough reviews.
Yeah, so it sounds like you and I need to rate one.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta become super reviewers like these people that we just read. But yeah, that seems low. I mean, if I were to realistically put it, it's like 40, I would say, probably. I don't know. What was Jungle to Jungle? Do we remember?
I only remember the IMDb.
Okay, well, whatever. I'll look it up. Jungle to Jungle or Rotten Tomato. This is important.
Very important. Nothing more important.
Not Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Come on. I know everybody liked that.
I wonder if that woman's JTT obsession was very similar to my family's Michael J. Fox obsession.
Jungle to Jungle has a 19, so pretty comparable.
Wow.
And a 33% audience score. I don't know.
Very comparable.
I got nothing. I'm at a loss, Jordan. I'm at a loss, and I'm frankly done thinking about these haters.
Perhaps we're watching a lot of very similar films.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out, well, wait. Do we have any mail?
What?
Do we have any mail?
Yeah, Jordan. Let's go ahead and rip open the very special Man of the House mailbag.
You've got mail.
First message comes from at TTA 90s Podcast. I think it's That Totally Awesome 90s Podcast. And they ask, which movie had a better Ford Explorer destruction scene, Man of the House or Jurassic Park?
Ooh.
So, it's a good question. Obviously, one is like an iconic scene and vehicle from an iconic movie, and the other one is this. Jordan, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Man of the House hasn't really taken on quite the same cultural relevance. You don't see it on any of those, like...
Well, didn't you hear Chris Pratt is in talks to redo Man of the House? So
he's going to play the dad? Or
yeah, he's going to play Chevy Chase. No, he's going to play...
Monroe?
Joey. Monroe. Yeah, that would be good. That'd go over well. Yeah, no.
You know, whenever I think of Jurassic Park, I think of this time when Sam and his parents decided to take me to the theaters to see Jurassic Park 3 in theaters.
The Lost World?
I don't... Is that what that one's called?
I don't know. Keep talking.
All I know is I was too young and too scared to go, and at one point, like, it was before the movie even started. I, like, worked it up in my head so much that I went to the bathroom, and then I came back, and I was like, I gotta leave. I pretended that I had some allergy to something, because I do have allergies. And, so, yeah, I never got to see it.
I've always been suspicious that most of your allergies were fake and just used to get you out of doing things you
They
didn't want to do.
are convenient, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, Jordan, sorry you were such a coward.
I was a coward.
Jurassic Park 3 was arguably the best one.
I pretty much only could watch Cheers, so...
I heard there's a really good Jurassic Park restaurant at the Cincinnati airport. Give me Man of the House in this one. No explanation needed. It's just good.
Right.
It's just good fun.
Next question.
It's not. This next one's not a question. It's more a comment. It comes from at SM Burgess 8. Man of the House. I swear my husband thought I was making this movie up. I couldn't remember the name of it for the longest time. Not a question, just an interesting comment. It's not made up, Megan. We just talked about it, so there you have it. Have your husband listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure he'll be psyched too. He'd probably love it.
Yeah, he's like, well, let's watch it, and then let's watch this commentary on it, or listen to this commentary.
Last message comes from Miss Sarah Schatz at Keyshawn Mom 9. I'm so ecstatic you guys are covering this movie. I was obsessed when I was a kid. I even owned it on VHS. I'll probably get rid of that. I know this movie backwards and forwards, so she's a fan.
So she knows how to use that rewind button.
Oh yeah, rewind and pause. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. She's an expert. If you're so psyched that we cover things like this, just like Sarah, you might want to support us. So you can go to
that'd be great. Yeah,
you can go to patreon.com/HomeandPodcast, support us for as little as $1 a month, and we'll continue doing stupid stuff like this.
It cost me $3 to rent this movie on Amazon, so it'd be great if I could somehow get that money back, guys.
We got to pay for it somehow.
Yeah, just let me know if you want to cover the cost of that, because that's time and money I'm not getting back. So
that's right.
Food for thought.
Yep. If you want to tell us your thoughts about this podcast or Man of the House or future home improvement episodes, go to facebook.com/homeandpodcast or Twitter @homeandpodcast. Our website is thehomeandpodcast.com. And with that, I think we wrapped this one up.
Well, Jordan, I just wanted to ask you quickly, would you say you are the man of your house?
I'd say so.
Okay, cool. Me too. All right, yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining, listeners. Thank you for listening. I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.
Sturgis.
Sturgis.